Hello and welcome to Mythical Meeples. Today I'll be reviewing Syndrome from Disney Villainous. This is part of a series of reviews I've done for Disney Villainous, focusing on each character in turn. I've ranked the difficulty of each villain, placing them as easy, medium and hard. I've also outlined the basic strategy that I tend to follow when playing that villain, although it is by no means the definitive way to play. I'll pick out my top 3 cards for each villain as well, although I'll largely ignore those cards directly required for victory. So cards like the Crown and Trident for Ursula, Titans for Hades, Magic Lamp for Jafar, that don't necessarily do anything other than achieve the goal. If you like my content, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to support me in other ways, you can also become a member of Mythical Meeples or support me on Patreon, where you can gain access to more content, sneak previews and behind the scenes, such as more Disney Villainous videos. There's a link in the description below to each of those. As I said before, today I'll be reviewing Syndrome from Bigger and Badder for Disney Villainous. So for me, Syndrome fits into the medium category of villains. He isn't a difficult villain to play as, his goal is relatively straightforward. However, the wording in his villain guide and on the Omnidroid can be a lot to take in for new players, leaving you feeling overwhelmed. It also feels like there's more to keep track of with Syndrome than with other villains, as his playstyle can be fit into 3 separate phases. In phase 1, you want to find and defeat heroes using your Omnidroids to help you get to phase 2. In phase 2, you're searching for major modifications. You have 4 of these cards in your deck, and you'll need all of them to win and get to phase 3. However, monologuing and That Was Totally Wicked are quite punishing fate cards and may force you to go through your deck a second time to find them. The final and third phase is simply a case of defeating heroes as quickly as possible. Your opponents will eventually run out of heroes to play on you, so defeating a hero every turn is essential. I really enjoyed playing as Syndrome. The pathway to his goal is broken down into separate stages, and it's very satisfying to reach the final stage and know your opponent must now do everything they can to win before you do. Syndrome has a lot of condition cards, so you always need to pay attention to your opponent's turn when you're playing. This leads me nicely on to my top 3 cards, the first one being one of Syndrome's condition cards. Who's Super Now? So Who's Super Now is a condition card that gets activated when another player plays a card, so playing this is incredibly easy. You then gain power equal to the cost of the card being played, allowing you to really build your power supply. I find this really useful when trying to play allies or major modification, as Syndrome can otherwise run out of power, especially if you're going to Syndrome's lair to play 2 cards where he doesn't gain 2 power. The second of my top 3 cards is Not a Sidekick. So like Who's Super Now, Not a Sidekick is one of the 4 types of condition cards in Syndrome's deck. It's an incredibly powerful card, allowing you to draw cards equal to the amount discarded by another player, which really helps you go through all of your cards. As almost every villain needs to discard cards to achieve their goal, you should make efficient use of this and be able to go through your cards really easily. It also gives you a little bit of protection from monologuing, as you'll have more cards in your hand to choose from when you discard. For my third card, it was a hard choice between Velocipede Patrol and Containment Unit. In the end, Velocipede Patrol just won. The main reason for this is the amount of control Velocipede Patrol gives you over your board. Because it can defeat heroes at adjacent locations, opponents will be less likely to play heroes to these 3 locations that your Velocipede Patrol can vanquish them from, forcing them to place them to a location of your choice, especially if you have more than one Velocipede Patrol. If your Velocipede Patrols are at Syndrome's lair, as you can see here, your opponent will want to play heroes to Par Residence to stop them being defeated by the patrols. If you can then get Omnidroid version 10 to Par Residence, the heroes are all set up for you ready to defeat them. The main downside of the patrols and any other allies is their vulnerability to That Was Totally Awesome, which can undo all of your hard work. So the patrols are by far your most versatile ally, and you'll probably want to play them over your other allies, as they're stronger than security and more versatile than guards. So those are my top 3 cards. However, I want to do a special mention for the Omnidroid version 10. How can one not talk about the Omnidroids when talking about Syndrome? are such a key part to him achieving victory. Omnidroid version 10 is your most powerful weapon to defeat heroes, capable of defeating any of the heroes in your realm. Additionally, Omnidroid version 10 isn't discarded when you defeat heroes, so you can use it over and over again. Just make sure you defeat the hero holding the remote last, otherwise you'll lose control of the Omnidroid. And that will make it much, much harder to defeat the heroes. If you've managed to get all of the heroes lined up onto one spot by making good use of your Velocipod patrols, then you'll find it much, much easier to use this. What you want to do is make sure you defeat all of the heroes before you activate the remote though. So that's my overall thoughts on Syndrome. Your goal is to defeat the first heroes that come up really, really quickly. You want to use the Omnidroids to do that. And then you'll need to get your major modifications out, which means cycling through your deck as fast as you can. And then you'll just need to keep killing those heroes until your opponent can't play any more on you. Syndrome is a mid-tier villain. So in the bigger and badder set, you've got Lotso and Madamin. Lotzone is really, really hard to play as. His fate deck is punishing, and he has a lot of control over other people because he can fate a lot. Madamin, on the other hand, is really, really strong and very easy to play. So the bigger and badder box set isn't very well balanced internally. So if you're picking this up as a starter box, I'd recommend going for a different set of villains. However, it's quite nice if you're looking for expanding, as it gives you a different range of villains. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to support me, you can become a member of Mythical Meeples or support me on Patreon as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.